the big thing I wanted to talk about is to those that are waiting on like this big record deal or something from some label that's gonna come by and gonna crush your dreams. What's going on, guys? Man, I just got home from work. I got like tons of mail. I don't know if you don't follow me on Instagram, check it out. There's a link at the bottom. There's a bunch of stuff down there I just ordered. Getting ready for Baltimore. I got a new camera bag / throw my laptop in it bag that I can take down for Baltimore. I still had to record the vlog by the time I got home. And I mentioned on Twitter that, you know, if anybody was interested in me talking about a quick little story about my life and experience as a musician. I played in bands since I was like 15 years old, and I just kind of wanted to share a little story for those that are in music. You guys will know, but those that are not in music or anything, or maybe you're younger and you're trying to make it at the moment, the big thing I wanted to talk about is to those that are waiting on like this big record deal or something from some label that's gonna come by and basically, I'm sorry, but in a sense, like nowadays especially, gonna crush your dreams. Trust me on this. Just hear me out. Oh, by the way, I got this awesome new t-shirt from my friend Rachel Rawson. If you guys haven't heard of her, check her out. I will plug her at the end of this video so you can go check out her channel. Go subscribe. She makes awesome t-shirts. This is just one of them I got in the mail today out of all the stuff that I got. But yeah, so one thing I wanted to show you guys, since we're talking about like my music experience and stuff like that, this is one of my bass guitars that I used to play with. And yeah, this is my bedroom. So this is kind of like a tour / music experience thing that I want to show you guys, because this is kind of cool. I don't know, maybe it's interesting to some people, maybe it's not. So this is my bedroom. I have all my guitars, and this was my first guitar ever. It's a cheaper Ibanez. Slapped some stickers on that bad boy, and you know, I've had that since I was in 8th grade. That was my first guitar. Check this out. So this, if you don't know, is the Wallflowers. They were a pretty big band back in the 90s. That's Bob Dylan's son right there, Jacob Dylan. Actually got to hang out and smoke a cig with him back in the day, and kind of had a one-on-one for a good 10 minutes or so with him. That was cool. That was probably one of my favorite experiences of meeting bands, of all the bands I've hung out with and everything. If you ever have the opportunity to get out and do a meet and greet with a band that you like or whatever, definitely take the opportunity. Just kind of meet them and talk to them and stuff, especially if you look up to them and their music and everything has helped you in your life. Like me, there's tons, I listen to everything, and tons of music. There's been tons of music that has helped me throughout my life, so it's cool. Get out and make sure you guys go check out a band. Meet and greet. Alright, I got the camera on the tripod. Got the lighting set up and all that fun stuff. So anyways, alright. So the story I wanted to share with you guys is basically, you know, when I was like 15, I started playing guitar, and I sucked like everybody because you're first starting. I joined a band. We were a garage band, underground. We were pretty heavy, like hardcore underground type. That was when I was first introduced to like hardcore music. It was probably, I don't remember what year that was, like 96, 97, somewhere around there. I went to my first hardcore show when I was like 15 years old. And if you've never been, if you're not into hardcore, that's cool. It's the hardcore scene is just totally different than everything else. I mean, at least back in the day then, that was like the type of scene I was in. That's the type of band I was in. And funny thing, I guess, show you guys something. Check this out. So this right here is one of those old, yeah, really old pictures. Hopefully you guys can see it. Hopefully you guys can see here. All right, so there's me right there. Back when I was 15 years old probably, I was a skinny bastard. And there's that guitar I showed you guys earlier. That was in my buddy's basement. We used to play, and we'd get in his we'd get in his mom's van because we were too young. We didn't even have a driver's license. Pack up her old school caravan with like the wooden sides, siding and crap on the outside. But we'd take the seats out, throw all our gear in there. She would drive us to our gigs. We actually would play like these crap. Well, we'd play like parties sometimes in basements, and we would go out and we actually played a couple dive bars. That's where the hardcore bands would play because it's not mainstream and stuff. But the place would be packed. I mean, it would be insane. So it was a lot of fun. It was a really cool experience. So going from there, I played with them for a while. Things kind of fell apart. I went into the Marines. I'll tell a whole story about that at some point. So I took a little break while I was in the Marines. I moved up to Harrisburg, up in Pennsylvania here. I went onto a radio station website they called Under the Radar, it's called. And it's still out. They play a lot of like underground bands, non-signed bands or whatever. But they'd have like this forum. You could go in and it's like bands looking for drummers, guitar players, bass players, everything. So, like I said, if you guys were listening earlier, I played bass, but I started playing guitar. I used to think bass players were like cheesy and stuff. That was my whole thing. I'm like, why would I want to play bass, dude? You can't go to parties and like bust out a guitar and play like cool songs and stuff for the women. Like, women don't want bass players. You know, bass players always get left out or whatever. So I joined this, I found this band, I went and auditioned, and from that website, met with this guy, he was a guitar player. They were looking for a rhythm guitar. Went and played some rhythm guitar stuff, and we had a girl singer and a guitar player. So this was the guy I originally met with in my first band up here in Pennsylvania. This was like one of the shows we played. And this right here was our very first show we ever played. There's the girl singer right there. And I still talk to them occasionally on Facebook. And you're talking, I mean, this was 13 years ago, 12, 13 years ago probably. So the guy that I met with, the guitar player guy, we were in a band called Infused in the female singer. And that kind of, we played a little bit in his basement and stuff, and then, I don't know, things kind of fell apart again. You know, like, my big thing through experiences of being in a band and being a musician is when you're in a band, it's like being married to like 3 or 4 other people. Honestly, you guys know if you're in a band, I mean, everybody has their own opinions and everything like that when you're in a band, so you got to make things work. But with 3 or 4 other, however many people, I mean, you know, like Slipknot or something, that big of a band, I don't know how they do it. I don't know. So we kind of split up. We went out, the guitar player, myself, went out and found another lead singer, and we went and we started playing cover shows. And basically, long story short, we started playing like the cover scene around here, bigger venues and stuff that would hold 300-400, sometimes 500 people in there, big clubs in the Harrisburg area, downtown. And we would travel a little bit. We'd go to like Ohio and Pittsburgh and everything. And we were doing our thing as a cover band. We thought about like writing our own stuff and all that, but that didn't come until later on. So if you guys are an original band, anybody that's watching or ever has been in a band where you wrote your own original music and didn't really play covers, you know I'm talking about how the story is true. I mean, I've played with bands that were one-hit wonders, like Trust Company. I don't know if anybody's heard of them. They were an early 2000s band, and we opened for them actually out in Allentown, Pennsylvania one time. And I'm like, hell yeah, this is Trust Company, dude. I like their song. They had one big hit. And we went and opened up for them, and they had this. We parked next to them. They had the same van as us, same trailer, and they were once they went on, we played. They went on, and they had a little change jar out in front because their transmission was busted. I mean, so you sit and you think like, man, this was like a band that was like had a big hit on the radio, and now they're like in this situation. So like I said, through my experience with other musicians, I never made it that far or anything like that. I had a great time, but I've met a lot of bands, I've opened for a lot of bands, hung out, got to talk to a lot of bands, the guys that are big time now, and you know, guys that never even made it or whatever. But from what you know, what I know is it's not all about the dollar bills and what you see. It's about just you gotta have that passion. It's almost like being here on YouTube. You gotta have that passion behind it. You're not gonna get rich in anything like that. And especially in a band nowadays, my 2 cents would be, if you're waiting for that huge label deal or that record deal or whatever to come along, I'm not gonna shatter your dreams. It could happen. It could definitely happen. Anybody could do it. If you're in the right place, right time, you bust your ass, you get the music out, you promote it and everything like that. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But the best way to do it nowadays is just do it yourself. Do it yourself. Get your stuff out there. It's so easy to get on iTunes and Spotify nowadays. How you can get it on like the jukeboxes and crap out in at bars and stuff like that. Get the music out. Promote the crap out of it. Promote it. There's a thing, I don't know if it's still out there, but it's called the Indie Bible. It's all for indie bands. It gives you venues, internet radio stations that are willing to have you on for free, or like a very small donation to like interview you, play your songs. But that stuff like that you can use to promote yourself. You gotta have like a press kit together, and to, you know, it's just like being a photographer, videographer, anything like that. Anything. I mean, it's a resume. Your press kit is your resume that you have to submit to different clubs. And if you want to try to play festivals, there's so much stuff I could tell you guys about that you could do. But that's just my experience. In my tweet, like I said earlier, where I mentioned there was one big band that I used to play with and I used to talk to a lot. I used to talk to their dad a lot. And they won a Grammy about, it's probably been like 5 years or at least since they've won the Grammy. I don't know if they won another one yet. I've kind of lost touch from them because their dad is, he was the driver of their RV before. Now they have a bus and all this crap. They're like big signed band. I'll show you guys a picture with them if you guys want to see. Here, hold on. All right, so here's some pictures. These are pictures of me playing bass. We had a photographer come out and everything. Yeah, I used to have hair and I was younger. So these guys are the guys I'm talking about right here. So this is the band Hailstorm. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. If you haven't, then check them out. They won a Grammy about 5 years ago. This was a party, man, probably like back in 2008, 2009, somewhere around there, that they came out to. And we partied. And I was really good friends with their dad. And the way I can tell you guys the story about that, how I met them and their dad and everything like that. Sitting down with him, I mean, Hailstorm is a perfect example of like a newer band and how they made it, the sacrifices they went through, and just their dad was like they got to where they are because of their parents. Their mom was their manager. Their dad rode the RV. Dude like built drum risers for that. He like did everything. Dude was a penny pincher. Like he knew how to save money. You know, Lizzie and RJ, they grew up, instead of getting cars, they would get like a new drum set. RJ would get new drums, something with drums. Lizzie would get like, you know, anything involving music with her singing, put money towards singing lessons, put money towards a new microphone, all kinds of stuff like that. They, you know, from what I've was told, the conversations we've had, they sacrificed a lot for their childhood because their parents believed in them, and, you know, they didn't force them to do any of that stuff, but they wanted to be a musician. So their mom and dad was like, listen, this is what you got to do if you want to make it big time. So I just kind of wanted to share this little story with you guys. I'm sure I'll talk a lot more about my music career and everything like that. I know I got carried on a little bit too much. I love talking about music. I could sit here for hours and crack a beer open and chill with you guys and talk. But, you know, I don't want to make this crazy long video or whatever about it. But I figured I would want to share a fun story fun story time. It's windy, it's cold outside, it's getting dark. I wanted to get out and do some stuff outside, but nah, you know what? It's good to tell a story. If you guys enjoyed this story, let me know in the comments below if you want to hear some more stories about music or anything in general. What do you guys want to hear? Whatever you guys want to hear if you enjoyed this story time. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button, smash all the buttons, do the thing, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.